So in this video tutorial we're going to create a burning effect. So we're going to burn this US dollar bill just from the right to the left while it is falling. So first of all we press play again with a spacebar to see our animation. I think we need some further adjustment here just to have this bill falling and going slower and stopping earlier. This let me just go back here, and we are going here in the physics tab. We're going to change under physical properties. We're going to change the air viscosity, increase it to a value of 2. Now we press play with pressing the spacebar on the keyboard, and this now has to go much slower and stop earlier like this. Okay, let's just see it again. Okay, this might be okay. Just pause here, go back to frame 1, and we forgot to add a subdivision surface modifier just to smooth the plane a bit. So we go under modifiers, we add modifier, generate, and then we choose subdivision surface. We increase the levels to 2. And as we can see, the borders, the corners are brown. So we press the tab key to go to edit mode. Now we press Alt and click, and Shift Alt click to add a selection to the other one. Shift Alt click, Shift Alt click again, and now we're just going to sharpen these edges by pressing Shift and the E key. And now we move the mouse to the right. Now we have our corners sharp. So we press tab to go to object mode again. Now we can actually start within our shader editor to create our burning animation. So I'm going to move this a little bit to the left here, split this, just making some space here in the shader editor, and we move these 4 nodes by selecting them and then pressing G, move them to the left. And here in between we're going to put a mix shader. So we press Shift A, search, we type in mix, we choose a mix shader, and we put it right in between, and automatically it connects the principal BSDF with a mix shader and then to the output. So now for the second shader, what we need here, of course we need a transparent node. So Shift A again, search, type in transparent, we choose here this one, the second one, transparent. Then connect this one to the shader 2. Now when we move here the factor, we can see that it disappears, but our entire plane is black and it is supposed to be transparent. So now what we have to do, easy, we are going to the material tab here on the right, and here on the blend mode, under settings, blend mode, we change opaque to alpha blend. Now we can see that it is entirely transparent, like this. So we go back here, type in 0.5, and now for the factor we are going to add a color ramp. So Shift A, search, type in color ramp, and now we're going to connect the color to the factor like this. And now when we move here sliders, we see that the right white slider is going to make our plane, our dollar bill, transparent. Of course, what we need here is to connect more nodes to create an animation going from the right to the left, meaning that will disappear starting from the right and then go to the left. So we need here another node, Shift A, type in gradient texture, and we are going to connect the color to the fact of the color. So we can select both of them, then we press F. So next, what we need here is some node that tells our gradient texture that we want our disappearing movement from beginning from the right, going to the left. And how we achieve this? Easy, just by adding here a mapping node, and we can achieve this by pressing Ctrl T. And this automatically adds a mapping node and a texture coordinate node. Move this up a little bit, but this shortcut only works when we have here under Edit, Preferences, and under Add-ins activated these. We search here for Node Wrangler. You have to make sure that this checkbox is checked, and now these shortcuts of Ctrl T will work in your Blender version. So when we move here the X location value just up a little bit, we see that this dollar bill is going to disappear starting from the right, going to the left, like this. Of course, we don't want to have a straight line here, so we have to add some nodes in between here. We're going to add a noise texture node and a mix color node. So Shift A, noise texture. Now we have lost again our movement, so we are going to Shift A, add a mix color. We move this up to the factor. Now we connect the object to the B slot of the mix color, and now we have some more organic structure here, which simulates kind of a burning effect. Of course, we're going to adjust some more values here, but this is our basis to start to work with, like this. So now let's quickly here adjust the values for our noise texture. We're going to decrease the scale to -18. We increase the detail to about 10.6, like this. Maybe one more. Roughness down to 0.433. Linearity, move it up a bit to about 2.7. And distortion down to -0.7, like this, to create some more chaotic structure here. So next, and here the important thing, we're going to animate the X location inside our mapping node. So what we are doing here is on frame 1, we are going to move the X value to a negative value until we have the entire shape here visible. So we're going to reduce the X value to about a value until we have all our dollar bill visible. I think maybe this value will work for us. So we right click here, insert keyframes, then we can move forward to about a frame of 110. We have here some mess going on, but we will fix it just in a minute. Let me just first adjust here the second value here for the X location. So we're going to type in -0.86 like this. Now right click insert keyframes. Okay, and we're going to move forward to about frame 200. And here we're going to set our X location value to 2.6. Right click, insert keyframes like this. And now we move to the last frame of our timeline. We'll just increase the value a little bit, about maybe it's too much, but maybe right click, insert keyframes. We're going to decrease this value here on frame 200, just about that, about 2. Right click, replace keyframes, and now we're going to play our animation. And we just press spacebar, and we see what we have. We have here some trouble with our simulation. We can fix this easily by going here, just changing and restoring our values from before. Now play again. It should correctly work. So when we have trouble here with the simulation animation, we just go back to our properties tab and change a value, and then we change it back to the original we had, and it should play the animation correctly like this. So now we have our transparency animation, and maybe I would like a value for the last frame a little bit less, so that it doesn't disappear so much of the plane. So we're going to frame 250 again, and just let's decrease the X value to about 2.4 and just check how it looks on like this. Okay, looks good to me. We also want to change some X rotation values here. So we type in here 13 and also for the Z rotation we type in -8 like this. And just check here, and maybe we increase the scale value to point. We can just play this animation. Maybe we can leave it at 1. Okay. Looks good to me here. So to finish, we're going to create our emission material to simulate the burning effect. So what we have to do here is to connect in between the gradient texture a color ramp. So we have to place between the emission and the gradient texture, we have to place a color ramp. So we're going to select this one, duplicate it, Shift D, place it here. Now we're going to connect the factor to this one, and the color to the color of the emission. Now we move this one to about the center, to about 0.427. We create a new one by clicking on the plus icon. We move this one to about 0.46. Change the color to a red one. We type in FF2600. And now we should see some effect here, but we actually see nothing. This is because the strength of our emission is still set to 0. So here we're going to type in 25, like this. And now we're going to continue to add some yellow color here. So we press on the plus, move this one here, change the color to FFAA1F, enter. And now we can leave this at this position. We change the color of the white one to black and bring it just a little bit to the center, or maybe about 0.52, something like this. And we also have to change some settings in our first color ramp, which is responsible to regulate the transparency and opacity. So we're going to move the transparency slider, the white one, just a little bit to the center. And as we can see, this makes it more transparent, where it was more gray before, like this. We also bring the black one to the center, to position of 0.48, something like that. We add a new one, just to make the transition a bit smoother. We bring this gray slider to a position of 0.5, like this. And now let's just see what we have. What animation we have here. As we can see here on about frame 120, we have some issues here. I don't like this unnatural looking straight line, so we can change some scale settings here in the mapping. Let's just try it by increasing the X value just a little bit. Just we have some more natural look here. Let's just press play to see. Let's go to the first frame, press spacebar to play, and back to maybe still too. Okay. Maybe we want some more gray area here, so we're going to change we're going to move the white slider a bit more to the right, like this, to just simulate some kind of smoky particles, something like that. Okay, we can close the shader editor, go back to frame 1, press play. Looks not bad.